So what's the deal with the body scan? It seems if you check out any mindfulness website or go to any mindfulness class, there's always some talk of doing this meditation called the body scan. So I want to spend a little time here and pointing out some of the key benefits of the body scan, because I'm a huge believer in the practice, and yet I think a lot of people, especially a lot of students, kind of discount its benefits because it's kind of a longer practice and it's just about, feeling your toes and feeling your nose and this kind of mundane kind of activity. But there's some really big gifts that can be gleaned from the body scan. So I like to break it down into 3 key benefits that we can access through the body scan. The first is that the body scan enables us to begin to enliven the conversation between the brain and the body. For most people who are experiencing some degree of chronic stress, the body can start to not feel so good, right? If you think about what anxiety or tension or annoyance or frustration or just basic stress feels like in the body, it doesn't typically feel so good, right? I have never heard anybody say, "Gosh, I am so stressed out and I feel terrific." No, it's usually the exact opposite. You feel stressed out and you feel kind of crappy. So what we do to kind of manage this experience of crappiness, sorry for the language, is the brain will have a tendency to start to shut out the experience of the body. It doesn't know what to do with this kind of uncomfortable feeling, and so it starts to look for distractions or ways of getting away from these feelings of discomfort in the body. It will never bring you into a life of greater balance and health and well-being to continue to shut out the experience of the body. So that's one of the first places that we go to in a practice of mindfulness, is this enlivening of conversation between the brain and the body. The second main benefit of the body scan is that it can begin to help us really start to develop some skill with working with the wandering mind. If you have done the body scan at all, you will notice very clearly that the mind has a really strong tendency to wander. It's like you sit down and you're feeling your toes or you're feeling your calf, and suddenly the mind is just a million miles away. And the next time you might clue in, suddenly the guidance is up here on the shoulders and you're like, whoa, did she skip the whole body? No, we didn't skip the whole body in the body scan. What happened is you just zoned out, which is such the hallmark of mindless living, right? We zone out, we tune out, the mind is perpetually a million miles away. And that's exactly the mind that we develop some skill with working with in the body scan. Because the body scans can be a little bit relentless in its guidance of bringing the mind back, bringing the mind back. It says, feel your big toe, now feel your little toe, now feel all the toes in between, now let go of the toes and move on to your ankle, and now the calf, and so on and so forth through the body. And it's really enabling us to develop this skill with mind wanders, we go get it and we bring it back. Mind wanders, we go get it and we bring it back. Almost like lifting weights, right? You wouldn't just do 1 rep on the dumbbells if you wanted to develop a certain amount of strength in the body. You do repetition after repetition. Same thing with the mind. The mind wanders off. We repeat this behavior, this activity of bringing the mind back again and again and again, so as to develop some mental strength in relation to the ability of putting the mind where you want it to be when you want it to be there. The third key benefit of the body scan is that it enables us to begin to develop an experiential understanding of what it actually means to be present. Conceptually, it's not a hard thing to kind of think about. Okay, getting present, it means I'm just here and I'm feeling the weight of my body in my chair and I'm sitting here talking with you or whatever it is. But those are thoughts about what it means to be present. To actually begin to understand from an experiential vantage point what it actually means to become present is what we start to establish in the body scan. The body only ever exists in the present. The mind, not so much, right? We can live years of our lives, and many of us do, with the mind either back in the past or forward in the future. But the body cannot do this. So as it turns out, every time you bring your mind back into, say, the feeling of the thigh, or the feeling of the belly, or the feeling of the breath, or the feeling of the shoulders or the face, or whatever it is, this turns out to be a movement of mind into the present. Because the only time you can feel your belly or your breath or your face or whatever it is in the present. So this is what enables us to begin to develop the experiential understanding of what it actually means to be present, which is one fundamental way of understanding mindfulness. Mindfulness is the same thing as presence, is the same thing as awareness, is the same thing actually as consciousness, when you really get it under the umbrella of experiential understanding. I hope so much this brought you some benefit, and thanks so much for showing up.